right, hello everyone. My name is Stacie Lamar in association with Z2H Network, and welcome to Choppin' It Up. Now, for those of you not in the know, Choppin' It Up is an open forum where a group of individuals, myself and a few other people, get together and talk about topics of interest. Now, I'm talking any topic of interest. Nothing, and I mean nothing, you guys, is off limits. All right. Now, before we get started, I just want to take this time to thank everyone who has subscribed to the channel. Thank you so much. It is really appreciated. And for those of you who haven't, what are you waiting for? Because trust me, this is the place to be. Now, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and introduce my cohorts for today. We're going to start with this young lady right here.
Hello, my name is Christina, here for the female voice.
Okay. This young man right here.
My name is Roman, Z2H Network. Tap in and tap out. Staying open like the hospital.
All right. With that said, guys, let's go ahead and chop this up. Today's topics, the first topic is transgender athletes. Is it fair to let them compete against other females or not? Do they have an advantage? Do they not have an advantage? We're going to chop that up here for you right now. Roman, we're going to start with you, man. Is it fair?
I always ask a question. So my question is are we talking about what age group we talking about? Like, where are we at? Like, are we talking about just the Olympics? Are we talking about
We're talking
college
about,
or collegiate?
High school, collegiate,
On
and the
Olympics.
Yeah.
Let me say this. This is my personal opinion again. So, most people that are transgender are going to be feminine. So there is, only thing I can say is that they are going to be a little bit feminine. So it's not like this started in one day where I was in the weight room and I was like, hey, you know what, I don't think I can compete with the dudes, so I'm going to go, you know what I mean? I don't think it's like that. I think, again, it has a lot to do with transgender, with them feeling like they in the wrong body. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's a feeling. I think maybe you said something earlier about it's a mental state to them, like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So then now when we start talking about mental state, then I'm going to say, well, that's tough, you know? So I think we'll probably get to that later, but I'm going to say I'm going to say disadvantage right now. I'm going to go with that.
Okay. Christina?
I think it's actually an advantage to the player because, I mean...
To the athlete.
To the athlete, yeah. Like, I mean, we were speaking it in the under the guise of the Olympics, but generally, boys are a lot smaller or a lot bigger than girls when they're in high school. And if they, decides to be a girl now, or a girl decides to be a boy, that's just, yeah, I think it's an advantage to the player.
The only reason why I say that is because if a man is transgendering into a female, it's not just the parts. A lot of times, again, it's a mental state. Like I'm feminine. Like they feel like that. So they do walk like that. They do portray their life like that. So that was what I'm saying is, but I can't be a 7-footer and go play in WNBA because I feel, like Joanna, man. The movie, you know what I'm saying? Like you can't do that to get the scholarship. Like, no.
So you're saying, I mean, I do agree with you because, I think a lot of times, obviously, the athletes do feel that they're in the wrong body. And, so they take steps to transition, to fix that. But like I said, the question is when they are transitioning or even have made the transition, when they compete against other females, do they have an advantage?
I mean, it's tough. Again, I'm going to say no.
So there was a lawsuit in Connecticut about this with girls, and the article is from Scientific American, and it says trans girls belong on girls' sports teams, and it's a opinion piece, basically saying, and this goes over this whole lawsuit about this family of what they call it Psi gender, as I think how you pronounce it, and that's basically saying that I was born a woman and I identify as a woman. So, being that I would be under that, okay. And then you have the transgender. Well, parents of the Psi gender children, of the kids that were born as girls and identify as girls, sued the school district in Connecticut, saying that they didn't belong, that the transgender girls did not belong there. Well, what ended up happening is they ended up actually playing together and winning all together, and all the girls played at the same level. So basically this is saying that they can be there, and they're not threatening the other girls like maybe a lot of people feel like, oh, well, if they're playing with a boy, now that brings a different angle to it or whatever. They're not as competitive. But according to this article, it's saying that is not the truth.
That they don't have an advantage.
They don't have an advantage. This is what they're saying.
Okay.
In high school.
No, but like you said, this was an opinion piece.
It was an opinion piece.
Okay.
It was an opinion piece. One thing that it does say in here, it talks about testosterone, and that studies of testosterone levels in athletes do not show any clear, consistent relationship between testosterone and athletic performance.
But if I commit a crime and I go to jail and they start my paperwork, they're not going to ask me if I'm a man or a woman. It's going to be on the paperwork already. So that was my question. Do they ever get to change that in the books? Or is it always, you can't change your birth certificate, right?
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. So my question is, if you commit a crime, they don't give you the choice. You are what you are, so you're going to be in population with your gender, right?
Yeah.
I'm just saying. So,
well, I think, without getting into, that.
Yeah.
That's a rabbit hole you're trying to take us
down. No. But anyway, basically, for they do separate those individuals. They have people who identify with another gender.
But what I'm saying is, if somebody can go to the Olympics and say that, okay, yeah, I'm transgender, but when I go to jail, they don't give you that choice. I'm just saying, we talking about a subject that the government and everybody just kind of like say, no, that's what it is if you do this. But all this other stuff, you can choose, y'all deal with that. But if this happened, you gonna be this. You gonna be. That's all I'm saying. Right?
Yeah. It's not across the board yet.
No, it's not.
It's not across the board yet.
Exactly, it's not across the board yet.
Situations have to happen for things to change, and that's is pretty much where
and
we're at.
Unfortunately, that's pretty much the way it works. I mean, like
it really
Roman
is.
said, we're focusing on the one, and they'll just wait until the situation arises to go. Okay, now we got to deal with this.
Kind of like COVID.
Yeah,
right.
pretty much.
For sure.
All right, so no advantage, Christina.
I mean, my opinion was that I felt that they had an advantage.
Okay.
Honestly.
All right, so this is obviously a very, very, very sensitive topic. As a matter of fact, one of the first things that our current president, Mr. Biden, did was to sign an act to allow, not allow, just let them to compete, but that they had the right to identify as who they want to identify as. If I want to identify as a woman, then I'm going to identify as a woman. If I want to identify as a man, I'm going to identify as a man. So he made that for them. Now I reviewed clinical studies, and these are studies that were done with transgender athletes over a 12-month period, which I think is what's currently the amount of time that they have to wait before they're allowed to compete. They have to go through 12 months of testosterone suppression, is what they call it.
What?
Yeah. But based on this study,
Wait, so this is men you're talking about?
Yeah, for,
Okay.
men
Uh-huh.
transitioning into women.
Okay.
But based on the study, after 12 months, the woman or the man that has, they've taken the steps to be a woman, they still had a certain percentage of the strength of from when they were a man.
Yeah.
Which does give them an advantage.
Yes.
It does give them an advantage, and this is based on studies. Now, guys, the links that I visited and used will all be in the description. So you please go and check out those links and read the articles because this is where I'm getting this information from. There was talk of having the transgender athletes compete. I don't want to say their own league, but to have them compete against other transgender athletes only. They don't compete with other women. They compete against other transgender women. But unfortunately, obviously that's not going to fly because you can't single someone out like that. That's just can't happen, and I don't even see that happening. But it was something that was suggested. Another thing that is being kicked around is that 12-month period, waiting period, if you will, that be increased. They're not saying what that is yet, but I think that makes a little bit more sense. To just if after 12 months they still have a slight advantage, then increase. Go to 2 years, go to 24 months, or 3 years, and see what happens then. The one thing that I, after reading, when reading these things, the one thing that I really am impressed with is the fact that everyone involved is really, doing their due diligence at trying to get it right. They really are. They're doing their due diligence at trying to get this right. They might not have it right now, but they are working at it. But based on the studies right now, unfortunately, they do after 12 months they do still have an advantage. So that's just pretty much where we're sitting right now with the transgender athletes, with the men transitioning into women. I will say give my hats off to the women that are transitioning into men because they are competing at a very high level. They're competing against men. Now you do have critics that are saying that they are taking testosterone treatments, and which some say they consider it doping. But still, man, they are,
Isn't that it's kind of a requirement to make that transition is to take testosterone?
Yes.
So, yeah.
So, but they're still, holding their own against men, So I was really impressed with that. Yeah, I was really impressed with that. All right. The next topic I want to move on to is, and please forgive me if I mispronounce the name. Is it Sha Cari Richardson? Okay. There are some people that say that her ban was unjust. It wasn't fair. There were even some that said, it was racist. Christina, what do you think? Do you think the ban was fair?
I do think the ban was fair because this is the Olympics we're talking about, and rules are rules. I'm sure that there's plenty of, we don't know what other people had to go through or not do to make it there, and it's not really fair to them that have been putting in all that work if she gets cut a break, so to speak. I think it's outdated. I think they need to look at the rule and consider that marijuana is basically damn near legal in the United States, and that it shouldn't be held against her. And when somebody takes a weed test, it's like, this is something that happened, 3 weeks ago, as opposed to alcohol is only a few days or drugs is only a few days. So it's kind of not fair in that respect, My first thought when I heard about it was that it was racist. But then as I did more research, I realized that rules are rules, these are what they are, and sometimes they're just not fair. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. What you think, Roman?
First, everybody is human. Let me say that.
True.
And most people, everybody, it's just like if everybody in this room take a shot of tequila, everybody's going to react different. I'm saying that to say, like, no one knows the real history, too, of what led up to. You're talking about a kid that grew up in, grandmother raised them in foster care, and she just met her biological mom, and she died. And, no one knows what led up to it. Mm-hmm. Coping aids could be anything. A lot of people take a walk. Some people take a drive. Some people do just certain things to get themselves in a position to be able to cope. Nobody knows what they're going to do at them times because you lost somebody. Mm-hmm. And when you lose somebody, you actually lose sight of yourself for a second because you gotta. That's
especially
part of
your
grief.
Mother, especially your
even
parent.
Even if she wasn't there, I'm just saying that's still your biological. Yeah. So in saying that, like, again, when I lost my mother, it was just like, oh shit, like you think you next. I mean, you don't never know what's going on. Now, for somebody who has never been in a position for her to win and do those things, her reaction was, oh, I just did that so I can cope and this and this and that. It's not like she said she bought a pound and she was selling it. Yeah. I'm not saying that, but
and she was an organ where it is legal.
Yeah, every athlete known to man has taken some shit that he ain't supposed to be taking. And every athlete known to man has his own way of coping with his pain. Mm-hmm. Now, we bring any basketball player in here right now that was in the 70s and 80s.
Oh, yeah.
All of them were smoking weed. Because
the pills... not doing more.
I'm going to tell you why. Because the pills gave them diarrhea. I'm just being honest with you. Mm-hmm. And this is what they say. You running around, you sweating, going on this, and the worst thing you want to do, worst thing you want to do is be popping some pills in your stomach to sit in your stomach. So they all start smoking weed. It doesn't matter until you get caught. Put it that way. Even if I have a job, if I wreck a car, where do they send? Where's the first place they send me? To a drug test. So that's the only time it matters, when you get caught. She probably, how we know? She probably was smoking the whole time, but there's no reason for them to test like that because she is in second. She was in third. So as soon as she come in first, oh shit.
She became like a favorite here in the United States. The
media window opened up as soon as she came in first.
Right. This is true. So this is actually true. You are not lying.
You have a good point. You really do.
You are not lying.
So nobody knew who the hell she was till she came in first.
Yeah.
Nobody remembers who came in second. Who lost the Super Bowl 3 years ago? Who cares?
Right.
Yeah, unless you happen to be the
who cares?
Fan of the
if you're like an Atlanta fan or something.
Ah, damn. Okay.
Go ahead.
So, all right.
So
moving right along.
Yeah, that's another show.
All right. But anyway, so I got to give it to you guys because once again, as of other topics that we've chopped up, you guys have hit the nail right on the head. Like you said, rules are rules. Unfortunately, sometimes they don't make any sense because the whole reason for them having this rule in place is they say that marijuana slows the reaction time for the athlete, therefore possibly placing them in some kind of danger. I don't know. Alcohol used to be on the list, but they've removed alcohol.
Alcohol's not on the list.
No, alcohol is
not on the list. And alcohol is at the present.
Yeah, and alcohol is not on the list. It was, but they removed it.
I can function a lot better on weed
But
than
here's,
alcohol. I'm gonna tell you right
I'm
now.
gonna ask and say something at the same time. Let's look up on how many people has been driving under the influence of marijuana and wrecked their shit. Let's do that. Because most people who smoke is too aware of what's going on, and they panic and they driving slow. So I'm already saying, like, when they say that, I just want to see, now that it's happened, you're gonna start seeing different rules. Because now baseball, was it baseball? Somebody's got cleared to go ahead. Oh, it was UFC, I think. Somebody got cleared to clear marijuana, like, nah, you know, y'all go ahead, you know. But shrooms are starting to come up into effect now for these athletes because of the thinking part of this. So watch how all this stuff is gonna start coming legal, but it's not gonna be, it's gonna be like Corona kind of. Like some places you gotta have a mask on and some you don't, you know what I mean? If you vaccinate, same thing. So it's gonna be up to the company. So I don't never think the Olympics gonna get rid of it because you gotta go to another country. Yeah. If I'm going to China, I'm just saying, like, I gotta go to another country, so it's up to the United States to handle your dope fiends. I'm just saying, like, but take care of your fiends. I'm just saying, before they come over here. I can understand that, all that. But if we make it legal, y'all gotta go off our rule too, though. If y'all come over here, y'all can smoke. If y'all come from China, what's the first thing you do? You run into a dispensary. I'm just saying, like, so when is it? It's never gonna balance out until they just say, hey, weed is weed.
Because you know, a lot of people were are saying, you know, just what Christina said, that, you know, weed is freaking, for the most part, legal.
They just introduced to federally legalize it in the government, so it's like. So
you know, and then where it was done is legal. So that's what that was. A lot of the argument was like, are you crazy? You know, it's okay to do it.
Yeah, but can I tell you something? Yeah. She became more famous.
Yeah, it helped her out, if anything.
This is my personal opinion. She was famous. She is famous as hell now in the black community. Now I bet you, how many strands of weed now are going to be called named after her?
Okay, we going to name.
She already has a contract with
that's what I'm
Kanye
saying.
And something to do, something with shoes.
They're gonna make sure she makes the same money she would have been making in
and she's gonna come back the next Olympics.
Let's think about this.
I bet.
Think about this. She probably won't have to. She's gonna be an icon now, just like Magic Johnson was when they came out with HIV. I'm just saying, let's think about this for a second. Yeah, that's another show.
That's another show. All right, so basically, you know, I know that is, whether it's popular or not, the ban, you know, is fair. I mean, that's pretty much what everyone is saying. The ban is fair. If you are,
Phelps?
Phelps got suspended.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
I mean, it ain't like she was the first one. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? It ain't like this rule didn't apply until now.
Exactly.
It ain't like that.
Exactly. Now, like you guys said, is it fair? Does it make sense? Probably not. You know, does it make sense? Probably not. I mean, if you had alcohol on the list and you took alcohol off, and that does diminish your ability to function.
Oh yeah,
that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, then really, marijuana. You know. So.
Yeah, no.
But it's on there now. It's on the list now, and you know, she smoked it, and. You know, with rules, especially, you know, governing things such as the Olympics, you know, you want to keep those as black and white as possible. You know,
no gray.
Yeah, no gray. I mean, you know, there will be some gray always, but you really want to definitely try to minimize that gray. And so, you know, she did it. They said don't do it. She did it, and you know, she was suspended. So.
I just wonder what the Olympics is going to do when the United States federally legalizes marijuana, because I mean, it's going to happen no matter how people feel about it, because there's a lot of money there that they want. This is what it's really about, right? So is the Olympics going to change their view once because they do have so many athletes, like, how can they, you know?
But it's just like anything else. Okay, you can only smoke right there. It's legal, but you got to be this age, this, that. You know?
Right.
I'm just saying, like, and you got to do it right there. You go to Vegas now. You know, before, if you get caught in Vegas with a seed, you going to jail.
Yeah.
Now Shit, there's people walking around selling you weed. I mean, it's gonna get there. So I just think the other countries are just gonna be like, yeah, that's United States. Y'all, so y'all gonna be. Then they get the opportunity to say, okay, we can test y'all before y'all come over here. And then now none of y'all might not be coming to the Olympics.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Or come up with a test that says that they, you know, within the last like 2 weeks or 3 weeks before they competed, that they were not ingesting this. Put a time frame on the test, because I've never really felt that it was fair that a month ago I could have smoked some weed and test dirty, and the guy next to me maybe was on crack last week, and then they're not going to know. You know, like that's just not fair.
I agree with
Crack
that.
is way worse than.
Yeah,
Come on.
most definitely.
No.
You know?
No,
not at all.
Not crack.
Just give me some good old crack. No. All right, y'all. Hey, so that's it for today. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, that like button for future content. Please, like I said, look at these links for yourself. Read these articles. Get that knowledge. And please leave those comments, because I know y'all got something to say about what we chopped up today. I know you do. So please leave those comments, and we'll see you next time, y'all.